Well, did you watch any of the championship games over the weekend, the National Football League? The overnight ratings say that you did. A lot of people watched it. I just wanted to remind you that El Rushball, proven correct. Both games, in fact, the standard football analysis picks and the environmentalist wacko pick methods, both would have worked. Both did work. I was 2 for 2. And, of course, the difference in the 49er game and the Seahawk game is clear that the Seahawks, as a team, are more pro-gay than even the 49ers. And great to have you with us here, folks. Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. Great to have you. Telephone number is 800-282-2882. I tell you, my email lit up, and I guess a lot of people's did, with reaction to Richard Sherman, the postgame interview with Aaron Andrews after the 49ers Seahawks game. Now, what happened was, actually, there's an element of this story that some may not know. Richard Sherman's a cornerback for the Seahawks out of Stanford. He played for Jim Harbaugh, who coached Stanford when Richard Sherman was there. Sherman went to Stanford from Compton, California. His dad is driven a garbage truck in Compton. Compton is a place you get out of if you're lucky. And Sherman did. He was a wide receiver at Stanford for 2 years, became a quarterback, played for the 49ers coach, Jim Harbaugh. Last summer, I guess it was, there was Larry Fitzgerald, a wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, had a charity event, a golf tournament or some such thing. And at that event, Richard Sherman and Michael Crabtree nearly got into a fight that apparently Crabtree started. This is the best information I've got. Because what happened yesterday was Sherman had not been thrown on all day. And the 49ers had one play left to win the game. And Colin Kaepernick fired into the corner of the end zone for Crabtree. The pass was deflected by Sherman and intercepted by a Seahawks linebacker, thereby sealing the defeat for the 49ers. It was the third or fourth interception that Kaepernick had thrown, certainly the third in the fourth quarter. So after the game, Aaron Andrews, working for Fox, got hold of Richard Sherman, and this is what lit up everybody's email. Sherman was asked about the last play, and this is what happened.
I'm the best corner in the game. When you try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get. Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best. I'm going to shut it for you real quick.
And there's so many people who claimed that they were Seahawks fans are now claiming they're rooting for the Broncos in the Super Bowl because they just hate this. This guy's become a villain. He's become an arrogant egomaniac, all about me, saying these mean things about another player that nobody knows the history between the two. And Crabtree didn't do anything to Sherman that anybody saw, so it didn't make any sense. It was raw. It was at the end of the. I'm frankly, folks, I'm surprised we don't get more post-game interviews like this when the adrenaline is still pumping and the emotions are still raw. I mean, these people are playing for the championship of the National Football League, the NFC conference, to go to the Super Bowl. This is huge stuff. This is their life. And they're all wound up. And cornerbacks in the NFL are an amazing ego study. The successful ones are the biggest ego freaks you'll ever. They think they're the best. Every damn one of them thinks they're the best. From Nnamdi Asomugha, when he was with the Raiders, now the husband of what's her name, Kerry Washington, to Darrelle Revis, to this guy, they all think they're the best. That nobody can touch them. And even when somebody completes a pass on them, they don't lose their confidence there because they're out on an island all by themselves. They seldom get any help, and it's a lonely position. You get torched or you're great, and the adrenaline flows. And by the way, I want to say something about Sherman. Richard Sherman, best as I can, I don't know him obviously. Richard Sherman is a really smart guy. Richard Sherman's been writing a column once a week for a new website called Monday Morning Quarterback, which is the website Peter King, Sports Illustrated, started on his own when his deal with Sports Illustrated was expanded and gave him his own website. Sherman writes a weekly piece, and the guy's smart. He's football smart, but he's just general. He's got great grammar, great vocabulary. That's why this outburst yesterday surprised a lot of people who know the guy, because he really is a smart guy. So I caught up with him later, the postgame show. And you got here, let's see, Aaron Andrews talking to Strahan about this. She says, I think you, and Sherman. So I think you scared Aaron Andrews. You scared her half to death. But you and Crabtree in the end zone, what was that all about?
Well, I'm a competitor, and I don't like people saying negative things about me. I don't like people, running their mouth. So I told him good game and good try, but I'm the best corner in the league.
Hey, Richard, now this is the big question. You guys have been shutting down receivers all year long. Do you have enough defensive backs to go up against Denver?
Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we?
I'm sure you'll find a way.
I'm convinced that if people got to know Sherman, they'd like him, based on the ability you have to get to know him. He really came out of Compton, California, solid family, despite that place being just an infested slum. It's South Central L.A. He's really, from the way he writes, student of the game of football. He's really a smart guy. Some people say, yeah, but Rush, this is who he really is. Well, we'll find out. But I, like everybody else, I was stunned and shocked. But then again, I thought about it. I'm surprised we don't get more of this in the post. Snerdley came in. He'd never heard of this guy before. He came in. He was all livid today about this guy. Well, it's a different country now. It's a different world. I mean, everybody's saying this is not how you're supposed to be. Let me give you a contrast. I don't know how many of you noticed this who watched the game. There was almost the exact opposite of this occurred earlier in the game. A running back for the Seahawks by the name of Marshawn Lynch had a 40-yard touchdown run. And when all of his teammates met him in the end zone, they wanted him to do a spike and a high five and all kinds. And he said, nope. Did you see this? He shook hands with every teammate. There were no histrionics. There was no chest thumping. It was, hey, bro, we're going to make this look like we're used to this. We're not going to get a flag. We're not going to be – the game isn't over here. We got nothing to celebrate. I scored a touchdown, shook hands, and the emotion was kept at a minimum. I guarantee it was as surprising as Sherman's outburst at the end of the game was surprising. And the natural – you just don't do what Sherman did. You don't make it all about you. You don't go off on people like that. It's a different. Aren't we told that there aren't any limits on this kind of behavior? We've got to learn to adjust. This is the way the country is now. This is the way things have evolved. Anyway, Sherman's made himself the big story of the Super Bowl. But there's going to be something else that might come up during Super Bowl week involving Pete Carroll, a coach of the Seahawks. I'm going to hold this in check to see if anybody else gets this. I'm not going to be the first to lob this grenade. I'll wait to see if this comes up. Yes, a question from the official. Riz. Well, now, wait a minute. What do you mean when this elevates out in the street and an NFL player ends up dead? Because of what Sherman did? But nothing happened. It didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. There weren't any deaths in the streets after the game. Whatever Sherman did didn't inspire any behavior you're talking about, on the field or off. By the way, he taunted Crabtree. You cannot make the choking. You can't grab your neck and emulate choking yourself or something. He drew a 15-yard penalty. He did that while talking to Crabtree after the play. There's a history between the two. Anyway, Sherman's made himself the story. The only thing I want to say about it, I'm not condoning it. I and I don't want to overdo this, but if you go read some of the things that Sherman has written about his job, the way he approaches it, about other people who play the game, I'm telling you, this is a smart guy. And I'm not in any way defending or condoning this, and I'm not even trying to say I understand it, and I'm not going leftist touchy-feely on you. I'm just sharing with you. I was 2 for 2 on my picks, and they were proven correct in each game, even. And I made the picks based on actual football analysis. Had I gone environmentalist wacko in picking the games, and I realize some of you don't know what that is. You haven't been around. So later on in the program, I'll review, say, Broncos-Patriots, an ideal game to illustrate how you choose using the environmentalist wacko method. The environmentalist wacko method, basically, it was started by me to attract people to the program when I love football and like to talk about it who didn't. So it's okay if I can draw a connection between predicting football games and the environmentalist movement, for example. It might attract people, or at least make them not tune out. So I'll give you an example of what the environmentalist wacko pick would have been later on in the program.